Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, the very anticipated Cosmic Desktop from PopOS and System76 has been released into alpha. Now, the alpha means, and this is like alpha 1, this means that there are still a few known bugs, and it is mostly here for testing and for a review and analysis. So what we're going to do today is I've installed this, and I've installed this onto Linux Mint 21.3 on GNOME boxes as a virtual machine, and so we're going to be testing this out. Now, the first thing we're going to say is they have a separate download if you're running NVIDIA versus Intel/AMD. So when you are downloading this to test, make sure that you are downloading the correct ISO. It's not like many other distributions that has a single download which will support multiple different ISOs. And so you want to grab the right one. And then I installed this. The installer is very much the same as PopOS has always been to install. It defaults to disk encryption, which you can disable, and it defaults to, there's no live testing of it. It just defaults into the installer, allowing you to install the system, and then you can go ahead and play around with the system after that. So I went ahead and installed this. I've been playing around with it for a little bit, and we are mostly going to feature and highlight what the desktop environment does, as that is what is different. So with that, let's move on into this desktop, and we will see what PopOS and Cosmic desktop environment looks like. I will say too here that you can actually install this on a variety of different distributions already. It's available in Arch through the AUR. It's available in Fedora somewhere. I didn't look in all the details as to how to install it, but you can install Cosmic onto a variety of other desktop environments, so that certainly is an option. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right on in and see what this looks like. All right, so here we are on the login screen, and we have keyboard layout, we have users, we have sessions. Of course, Cosmic is our only option. We have a suspend, shutdown, all our basic stuff there. We'll go ahead and log in, and when we get logged in here, we will land right on our desktop. And I did change the desktop background, and I changed our accent colors. This is the second time I'm starting the recording of this because I was getting some weird artifacts where the mouse would just become completely non-responsive. I'm not sure if that's Cosmic or what was going on, or if it was an artifact with my machine. I'm not sure what the system is, but anyway, let's go ahead and walk first through our various settings here. So here we have our system settings, which we also have up here in our top panel up here. We have under our power, we have our system settings, suspends, restart, etc. We have our internet here. We can turn on airplane mode, wireless. Of course, we're connected to the network. Here's our input and our output, and then we can show media controls on the top panel if we want to do that. And then we have our current tiling system. So by default, I believe this was turned off and set to floating, but you can turn everything to automatically tile itself, which is a really nice feature. We're going to explore that in a little bit as we look at that whole setting and workspaces and things like that. But for now, we're just going to have a look at our settings. You can choose your light or your dark theme settings. Then you can choose your accent color. By default, it was this blue. I actually chose this yellow, just kind of matched our channel colors. This is our default. And then you can, of course, switch your accent colors to whatever you would prefer. And then when you choose those colors, I'm not sure why it's not changing the color for me automatically. It was taking a little bit to make those color changes here and there. There you go. And that was like the extra. So I'm not sure, like once I set that the first time, it seemed to work. But for whatever reason, that's not working for me right now. So we'll go ahead and not worry about that. Let me change the color here. There we go. That seemed to change it. So it looks like you have to go in and change it and then change the color specifically. So you can change automatically between light and dark modes based on your sunrise, sunset, and then interface text. And then your styles. I like this that we can choose between the rounded, slightly rounded, and square. It's like the whole world is going with these deeply rounded corners. I think it's ugly as all get out. Personal opinion, but I love the option that we can choose that. And then this is your active window hinting. So that's the window border around it. And then the space between tiled gaps, you can increase or decrease that. And then we have experimental settings, which is our icon themes and things like that. I'm not going to mess with the experimental settings right now. We're already in alpha. So here's your display settings. You can change your resolution, your refresh rate, power and battery. We have extended battery, balanced, and high performance. And then input devices, system accounts. We have firmware controls and things like that. So under our desktop, we also have other items for our wallpaper. I believe this one is the default wallpaper. So that's our default. So you have a variety of wallpapers. And then you have the option to have different wallpapers on different displays. And then you can also turn on a slideshow of the different wallpapers. I'm going to go back and find some beautiful snowy mountain or something. There you go. We'll just stick with that one for now. So the other options that we have our panel. So you can control automatically hiding. You can put it on the top, on the bottom. You can display everything, and then you can do the gaps between those. So you have a variety of different things you can do, small to large, and then you can do the opacity with the background, things like that. So we have some options that we can do. I'm not sure. I would expect that would turn our panel more transparent, but apparently that's not working. And then we have configuring panel applets. So we have our Workspaces button, we have our app library button, and then we have our time and calendar. We have end segment. There's a variety of different things that we can put on top of our panels and things. So that's what we have the controls to do that. So we're going to go ahead and keep all those the way they are for now. The other option I'm going to point out here is the Workspaces. I was having an issue getting Workspaces to work properly, we'll say, in that this is the Workspace button, and all I get is just this black bar. And it should, in theory, show me what is on other Workspaces. I'm actually not seeing that impact. So for whatever reason, now Workspaces is working. And we'll go ahead and have a brief look at that right now. I'm going to turn on, for illustration, I'm going to turn on your automatically tiling and turn on new workspace tiled behavior. And what this is going to do is when we start opening things up, then we'll have the automatic tiling. Let's go ahead and just start a new session on that. Now, you can use your meta key to shift and move various windows around. So let's go ahead and pull up two windows. See that it tiles, and I can control between these by holding my my meta key and then hitting my arrows. Now I can move them if I also shift the shift control. I can toggle them around. Then if I add the control, I can move them to new workspaces. So now we've moved everything onto new workspaces. Now this is where I was having an issue with the Workspaces button. In theory, now we have two workspaces, but I don't see the option to switch between the two on the panel. I'm not sure if that's a bug because I'm in boxes or if it's just a bug with the system. So that's just something I'm experiencing in this system here. But if I go in and I just pick a new application, I can go ahead and we got Cosmic Broke. I've seen Cosmic Break a couple of times doing this. If I'm in that workspace and I click another workspace button, I get into this broken pipe error. So again, this is an alpha. This is, hey, an error. Hopefully the Cosmic guys watch this and see what I did there. And I have gotten that a couple times. I'm just going to hit Alt-Control-Delete and terminate the session and reboot the system. All right, and we're back. Let's go ahead and turn some things back on here and see if I can't get some things working here. Okay, so we have three things open here now. Again, I can use my my meta and my shift, and I can move windows around. I can add the control and move it to new workspaces. So let's just go back to here, and we'll grab this one, and we'll also move this one to the new workspace. So now, in theory, I should have those two workspaces, but I can't really switch between workspaces that I found other than just toggling between your various open applications. So that is certainly okay. It's acceptable. It's certainly a bug that needs worked out. So that seems to be the issue. Pulling down the all applications. Here we have a variety of different systems here. So under our system, we have disk analyzer, we have iBus preferences, language support, USB flash or system monitor. Let's go ahead and have a look at the system monitor, see what that's looking like. Maybe. And there you go. There's our system monitor. So here's our resources. And we can see we're not getting, we're running 2 gigs. That's actually a lot of memory that I would expect, except I guess I am running Firefox and a few other applications open as well. So maybe that is certainly acceptable. But over here we have our utilities. We can add a new group over here, and we can just see what different applications are. They don't have a ton of applications by default. We have Firefox, we have a terminal, we have the App Store, we have Thunderbird, video, image viewer, document scanner. So let's have a look at the App Store as well. And let's go ahead and just move the App Store onto its own workspace. There we are. Oop. New workspace. There you go. So now when we pull this guy up, we have a variety of different categories that we can pick from. I really like the new categories. It kind of goes back to more of a classic, work, develop, learn, game, rather than the kind of more flowery things that the GNOME system just went with, which is weird. That's kind of really part of where Cosmic came from, is System76 was getting a little frustrated with some of the things GNOME was doing. And so they decided, hey, we're going to go back. And I really like what they've done as far as this. Now, Flatpaks are set up by default. You see Flat Seal here. Of course, that's a Flatpak. So if you search for something, in some instances, you have the application which is available as a system or a Flatpak. And you can see the default seems to be FlatHub, but we can go down and pull it down a system package as well. I found this with like Audacity, Kdenlive. Had that as an option as well. Pull this down. You can see FlatHub is the default, and we have our system. But then I found a few packages that were a little odd, like LibreOffice. So this is the LibreOffice base, like the full system, which is only FlatHub. But you can install the individual LibreOffice applications. These are all system packages. So depending on what you want, you might have to go in and install the LibreOffice suite, all as standalone applications instead of the full system through the Flatpak. That was really the only one I found that was really odd like that. But there's a variety of different applications you can find. It has the Ubuntu system repository packages, and it also has Flatpaks enabled. I don't think that they're running snaps at all. We can go ahead and check that by looking at just a terminal. Let's do snap list and see if that's installed. Command's not installed, but can be installed with install snapd. So that is not installed. That does tell us that the Mozilla and the Thunderbird are both the deb packages, probably from Mozilla. Does make me question, though, what are they doing with the Chromium package? Because Chromium itself generally has been switched, and Ubuntu has been switched to. Okay, so they're doing Chromium from the Flatpak. So they're kind of not running your snaps by default. So that is our software manager. We looked at our system settings. We looked at our tiling. And the one area, of course, here's your various things that we're looking for. These are all the applications that are currently open. And we can go to them, I guess, with control keypads, I guess. Is that what that said? Pull those down again. Oh, control. Let's do control. Let's look at control 5. Okay, so control 5. Interesting. I guess, is that going to desktop spaces? Yeah, control 5 takes me here. 4 takes me here. So I guess that's actually managing your workspaces. So that's really the one major bug that I see is, at least in my setup, workspaces are not working appropriately or apparently not at all. So that's, again, what I'm getting. So that's really the only major bug that I'm seeing. So overall, this is a really nice desktop environment. It's really interesting to see. And I am excited to see what happens when this hits your full release. And I might even want to play around with seeing if we can get this installed on an Arch system, just to have a look at it. in this pre-production here. But there is our brief look at the Cosmic desktop environment from System76. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already there. Leave us a like and a comment down below to help with the algorithm. With that, thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.